brightly here, Ron, and that's what he's probably got to do here, because Giyosov, he had an easier, I would say, semi-final. It was quite a hard fight against Yusupov, but the fight that Iglesias had against Barao, the German, it was a real hard battle indeed. And so if I was Giyosov, I'd be stepping on the gas a little bit and trying just testing Iglesias' fitness, because that was only yesterday, remember, it was a really hard bout indeed.
So the concentration of both boxers absolutely locked in. Good left hand from Giyosov once again. And he likes to embellish his shots when he's landed successfully by exhaling loudly, dropping his hands, making facial expressions. Iglesias with that right uppercut while on the retreat. Launching that right hand towards the southpaw is Giyosov. Iglesias so comfortable up there in the boxing ring. That cut over his right eye happened late in the third round of his semi-final victory over Barao. And he's getting onto the front foot, trying to force Giyosov backwards, and we haven't seen Giyosov being forced into reverse too many times during this tournament. He likes to feint. There's a hard single from the man in red, because he's a very explosive individual when he feints over that front foot and then launches with fast-fisted attacks.
Yeah, drops his hands a little bit too much for my liking, Giyosov, but he's setting a trap there. He wants his opponent to come forward, and then he just springs back with that fast right-hand counter and finishes on the left hook. So that's the trap he sets with those low hands. But yeah, so watch what he's doing here against Iglesias, who is an Olympic champion member in 2012. So he is quality, one of the more experienced Cuban boxers. But Giyosov, I think he's fought the right round here, Giyosov, in that he's really upped the work rate.
Cuffing left hands got through, and then a wonderful counter left hand from Giyosov. And again, he embellishes it with a little bit of swagger as he saunters his way back to the red corner.
He's the silver medalist of the Olympic Games 2016 and the 2017 ASBC.
A fairly close round. Giyosov started off well, right-hand counter going through there. On the inside, a bit scrappy. Iglesias comes through with a nice left uppercut on this occasion. He just misses with that hook. But Giyosov had some success of his own, hands very, very low, swinging away. That's a terrific jab from Giyosov.
Into the second round of this 69-kilogram gold medal welterweight bout, and it's a furious start by both boxers, right on top of the logo, toe-to-toe exchanges. And Iglesias looking to establish some quality.
Well, Iglesias really showing his fitness here, isn't he? We talked about that real hard semi-final that he had, but there's no signs of him being tired just yet. He's actually responded well to Giyosov in this opening of the second round.
Landed with a good right jab before the boxers fall into a clinch. But again, the change in tempo from Giyosov, because he goes from being almost static to explosive. And so it perhaps emphasizes the quickness of his punches even more. Referee allowing the boxers to work away at close range. Iglesias picked up his fourth America's Continental title early this year. That's a terrific southpaw right jab from the man in blue. Celebrating his success with Giyosov. Giyosov making the man miss. Glancing right hand to the body from the man in red.
Occasionally, though, Iglesias just makes the odd mistake, Ron. He throws that 1-2. He missed a couple of times, and that's when Giyosov has got to watch out for that and come back with those fast counters. But his hands are so low. Look, he wants him to come forward. That's the trap that he's setting. Iglesias has got to do it behind an educated right jab. That's what he should be doing. He's probably allowing himself to get too close, and that's giving Giyosov just time to score those shots on the inside. Iglesias has got to do it behind maybe a double jab or a straight long right hand.
A wonderful left uppercut turned underneath there from Iglesias. Both men looking to draw that lead that they can counter. Use of the shoulder was some rough stuff from Giyosov. Again, continuing the mugging and the gesturing behind facial expressions onto the front foot. Misses badly, a little bit of flashy footwork to get himself back into his boxing stance. And so he always gives the impression of being busy, of about to threaten something, Giyosov. Here we see a switch between orthodox and southpaw, but no effective offense behind it. But there's a good 1-2 from the man in red. But he spends an awful lot of time as he lands another 1-2. But in between these bursts of accurate punching, there's an awful lot of activity without much happening of consequence. He looks so busy.
He's quite clever, Ronald, isn't he? He boxes in spurts, he really does. He goes for a walk and has a little bit of a rest, and then he explodes into action, and it is eye-catching.
So another good. So we're into the third and final round of this 69-kilogram welterweight gold medal bout. That's a rematch from the same stage of the quarterfinal stage of the Olympic Games last summer. Good left hook by the reigning Olympic silver medalist Shaxram Giyosov, who really began to find his range in round number 2. Made Iglesias fall short, made him miss, and then landed with some eye-catching combinations, particularly the basic 1-2, exploding into range with fast feet and picking off the shaven-headed Cuban.
Iglesias has got to be more accurate with his jab here, Ron. He keeps coming forward. Occasionally he's missing. He's been caught with a couple of good left hooks. That's mainly because he carries his lead hand a little bit too low to the chest and waist area, Iglesias. That's his style. But he's just come undone in this round a couple of times with that left hook that Giyosov has thrown. So he's got to keep that right hand a little bit higher. Look, Giyosov again trying to land the left hook.
Roniel Iglesias, a reigning 7-time national champion of Cuba. His first senior title came way back in 2005. 29 years of age. Good left uppercut from Iglesias. And he has been at the top of AIBA open boxing for such a long time, taking a world title in Milan 2009. When he went to retain it 2 years later, he lost at the first preliminary round stage, and that's when there was no qualification for world championship. So that was the round of 64. Lost to Denis Berinchik, who eventually came away with silver. Good right jab from Iglesias. It's beyond the midpoint of the third and final round, and again fighting in spurts is Shaxram Giyosov. Iglesias trying to work away, but can't get anything away of quality. So again, on the back foot is Giyosov. Hard right hand whipped into the body, and it's reinforced for the judges once again as he holds up that right hand in acknowledgement and celebration. And again, the facial expressions continuing, goading his man in. He landed a good right hand, which he celebrates, but he took a couple of shots in return, followed by a final left hand from Iglesias.
I think he's a clever boxer, you know, Giyosov. He's more tired than what you think, but he goes for a walk and he bides time, and buys a few vital seconds by doing those walks, and he showboats. He's a clever lad, is Giyosov. And it's the eye-catchy stuff again from the man in red. That left hook.
Because despite the fatigue he may be feeling, every time he launches an attack, it's of the fast twitch, full velocity variety. Very explosive fighter. And here's evidence of it once more. Winding up the right hand, a la Sugar Ray Leonard, 1976 Olympic champion from Montreal. And they're absolutely delighted in that red corner. Shaxram Giyosov, warmly embraced by his coaching staff. After a very good performance, a clever display from the reigning Olympic silver medalist. And look at the contrasting body language over in that blue corner. They're far more subdued, and one suspects they feel that it isn't their night, whereas in the red corner, they are confident that it's their man who's about to be crowned as world champion. Have to say, for what it's worth, I agree with the body language that's been demonstrated, or as we're interpreting it from the two boxers. But of course, it goes down to the 5 scoring judges.
Yeah, clever display. from Giyosov here. Some of the eye-catching work, most of the eye-catching work was from him. Yeah, I think he's won it.
By unanimous decision. In the red corner,
Shaxram Giyosov is the world champion. A unanimous points decision winner over the legendary figure of Ronnie Iglesias. He warmly embraces the corner team of the man who have just conquered him. And Shaxram Giyosov with his trademark celebration. Absolutely ecstatic, so too